Bob Idea Man Hooey inspires audiences worldwide to stretch their skills for professional and personal success. An award-winning speaker, Bob's Ideas at Work demonstrates logical steps with innovative ideas and proven leadership career enhancement techniques. Bob is a founding charter member of both Canadian Association of Professional Speakers and the Global Speakers Federation. He is the 2011 Spirit of CAPS recipient, the highest award given in the Canadian speaking industry, and the 48th speaker worldwide to earn the coveted Toastmasters International professional level accredited speaker designation. Bob is the prolific author of 30+ books on leadership, career, and business success, several of them bestsellers. Canada's Idea Man partners with committed leaders and organizations to equip and motivate profitable growth and enhance success. Here to talk about breaking out strategies for long-term profitable growth, please welcome Mr. Bob Hooey. One, two, three, go.
Try it again.
1, 2, 3.
As I walked out the door towards the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew that if I didn't leave the bitterness and hatred behind, I would still be in prison. So wrote Nelson Mandela. Therein lies the lesson. I can sit down. Interestingly enough, one of the first things that you need to do, just so you're ready in a second, when you need to break out, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, he needs to be there, he's got one more thing to do. One of the biggest lessons is that if you really want to break out, you occasionally need to ask for help. That's the scariest thing for most of us to do, is to realize that we need somebody else to actually help us get where we need to go. And yet, when we do that, the doors open, the walls fall, and we can step forward in freedom, in courage, in confidence, knowing that we have broken out of where we were. And from the things that have stopped us, one of the things that I have learned, I'm watching a conference here, one of the things that I have learned, this is not working. Okay. One of the things I've learned is sometimes the mic doesn't work. Is, I don't know what I was going to say. I'm sorry, I think I was having a pink truck moment. And that's just for Jocelyn and Charlotte. So if nobody knows that, you can ask her what that means. She's written a book, and in the book is pink truck. Anyway, so I just thought I would throw that in. But one of the things that you need to do is be willing to take a chance. I mean, you think about it. We're here. Most of you are from South Africa, but some of you are not. Some of us are from other countries. And we have come to spend this weekend with you, to share some ideas, to maybe break out of our own habits. One of the things that, like for example, that little mime thing is something I've never done before, may never do again, but I just thought, why not? I'm in South Africa. If nobody puts it on YouTube, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if your wife doesn't know about it, I'm okay too. My wife is here, so it's okay. She knows going to do this. But it's important for us to reach out and talk to other people. Now, I was going to do actually one more thing. I think I can do that. One of the other things that happens when you break out, sometimes it's messy. You heard the glass? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to actually clean up a little. I just saw it. I had it. I paid for the thing. I had to use it, you know. But the biggest thing that we need to do, I think, as breakout artists, and I think we all are, is we need to be willing to take chances. I think I said that already. But very often we play it small. How many of you, if you were honest, and no show of hands because this is not the group participation part, but how many of you would think that occasionally you have played small when you could have played big?
Oh, yeah.
Because what's the worst that can happen? They're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about you anyway. Give them something good to talk about. I mean, it's like we were talking last night about Vancouver, the first convention in Vancouver. I'm still not going to ever live this down. We used to have something in Vancouver called the Rising Stars, where we would invite a speaker from each of our chapters. We had 11 chapters in Canada to come, and we would introduce them. They would have 5 to 7 minutes on the national stage, and they asked me this year if I'd do it. So I made it really special for them until I got the agenda. They had on the agenda for both mornings, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. I wrote them back and said, do the math. We got 11 speakers over 2 mornings, 5 to 7 minutes each. There's not enough to, oh, no problem, Bob, we'll take care of it. The final agenda came out, 7 a.m. start to 8 o'clock to do the Rising Stars. So I thought, okay, they didn't get the memo. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to find a way of making my point. So the first morning, I told the cameraman and the light guy, by the way, when my introducer is introducing me, you won't see me on stage. So just you can pan looking, where the heck is the speaker? And I came wandering on in my pajamas. and Graham, who was my introducer, I'm sitting there fiddling with something on stage, and Graham saying, Bob, there's people here. And I went, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. And I turned around and said, have you ever had that nightmare? That maybe something was different, or something was wrong. Well, welcome to that night. And I carried on. Never said a thing, got the point across. But people heard about that weren't even there. I had people coming up, Vancouver, yeah, pajamas. What's the heck? What's the worst that could happen? They'll talk about you. It's okay. If you want to break out from where you are, you've got to be willing to get out of the comfort zone of what you've always done. Because if you're always doing what you've always done, you're going to get the same stuff. You got to try something different if you want to grow. You got to try something bigger than you think you could do. When I was first in my speaking career, I met a gentleman, his name was Peter J. Daniels, who was from Adelaide, Australia. I saw him speaking in Vancouver. He spoke with Og Mandino, who was a hero of mine. I read everything that Og had written, and Peter and I just connected. And he said, if you're ever down in Adelaide, look me up. And as it turned out, a month later, I was there. Actually, I was in Melbourne. I phoned him and said, I'm in Melbourne. He said, well, if you can get here tomorrow, we can spend some time. So I got there tomorrow, and I had what I at that time called my $7,500 lunch, because at that time he was getting $5,000 an hour, which I thought was pretty good money in those days. It's not bad money now. He showed up in his gold Rolls Royce. His chauffeur dropped him off. We had fish and chips like we did last night. And over the next hour and a half, he shared with me, and he encouraged me, and he challenged me. And one of the things he did is I told him, I said, I have this funny little dream that I want to be a professional speaker, that I want to travel the world and encourage people to take risks and to move into their winter zone, out of the comfort zone, to try something different. And he looked at me and said, Bob, your dreams are too small. And I was somewhat taken back. And I said, what do you mean? He said, Bob, you're going to run into some pitfalls and detours and potholes. And if your dreams aren't big enough to push you through, you're not going to make it. And you know, he was right. There were a lot of little detours and pitfalls and potholes over the years. Have any of you ever had one? Have you ever run into something that you didn't see it coming, like this glass wall is? Like, it's there, but where'd that come from? And you sometimes need the passion and that to push you through, because if not, you're going to quit. Just like the gentleman was saying yesterday, first we laugh, then we cheat, and then we quit, remember? And we do that on ourselves. And one of the biggest things I can say to you is never quit on yourself. One of the things that I hear from speakers occasionally is they watch somebody like Faith do a keynote, and they go, I don't know about that, I can't do that. See, luckily for me, I just get up and talk. But I have heard speakers actually play down on themselves to the point where they've said, I'm not sure I should be here. You know, I'm not qualified. I'm not ready. And my advice to you is basically, yes, you are. Work it. Show up and do it. Do your homework and show up ready to go and deliver it. If you've been invited, if you've been hired, you have earned it. You need to now deliver it. It's like I was saying to the gentleman and the ladies at Kalisha when we were talking, doing the fundraiser. I said, I love the internet because it's a great leveler. You can be as big as you want, but you have to deliver. And that's the same for us as speakers. You have to deliver every time you walk on stage, because you're only as good as your last gig. But you need to make sure you never sell yourself short, because I've seen that happen. And when that happens, you deprive me as your audience member, you deprive me as your colleague from around the world of the greatness that's inside of you. So never sell yourself short. Always look at the bigger picture. Always go for the long haul, because it's not just now. You're going to run into now, and just now here and something. See, that's what you call picking up local stuff. You know, for our international speakers, I just paid attention. I even know what the difference is between those. I have a son that's a now kind of guy. You know, and so when we get home, we're going to tell him that. Alex, is that now, or just now, or? But we need to step up now and deliver, because our audiences are crying out for what we have to give them. I have a lot of people that are newer speakers come to me and they ask for advice, because they figure if I've survived this long and I'm not that good, then I must know something. and I've had more people decide to become professional speakers because they've looked at me and said, well, if we can do it, anybody can do it. And I say that with all pride, that I'm encouraging people to take up this banner, because we need the voices. We need people to step up, to step in and speak up. We need people that have the guts and the courage to do that. We need the people to have the willingness to play. How many of you like to play? I'm seeing hands go. Okay. Let me ask you another question. This is a segue, so I'll do the Alan thing here. Except I'm heavier than you, so I might actually go through this thing. So I have to do the lighter segue. Well, you know, you gotta know. It's a well-built stage. I hope. So where are my Canadians in the group? Where are my other Canadians in the group? I've got some other Canadians in the group. There's Shep. Yeah, and where else? There's Roger, Mike, Lenora. If you're looking around, you're seeing thinking caps coming up around the room. I'm doing that for a specific reason. One, today's my birthday. I am 65 plus 1. Do the math. And tonight is my birthday party. So I'm claiming it. They're going to do some award stuff, but it's my birthday party. And I want to invite all the Canadians to come. Now, in your bag, you had a little Canadian pin. Because I want to make each of you an honorary Canadian, just like Canada did for Nelson Mandela. They made him an honorary Canadian. In fact, this year they just came out with a whole series of commemorative stamps, which I brought to Charlotte and Richard. But each of you have that. I want you to be like Canadians tonight. I'll tell you a couple of things about Canadians. We're courageous, we're creative, and we know how to party. So we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to have a great time tonight. Now, the other thing that I just want to mention with that is, also in your little book, in your packages, there was a little book in there called, and I should have changed it for here, I should have made it my next 9 million rand idea. But it says $1 million idea, so you get the idea. But one of the things I've learned in coming to events like this around the world is somewhere inside one of your brains is an idea that can make me money. And hopefully in my brain there's an idea that can make you money. And if we coordinate and we collaborate, that'll work. Have you done that? Have you come to one of these and walked away with something and go, I could do that. I never thought of it, but I can do that. And you take it home and it works. I love this. You know, when my wife sends me off to CAPS and NSA events, she says, honey, get a lot of hugs. Because I've told people for years, I'm only here for the hugs. I know I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn something from having conversations with people in the hallway and over a drink or whatever. And occasionally listening to speakers. Well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But the bottom line, I know that I'm going to learn something every time I come. I expect it. And sometimes those ideas, those nuggets will be so amazing that I'll take them home and put them to work, and they will make an amazing difference in my business. See, the breakout idea you're looking for might just be here. And let me give you another idea that goes along with that. I hear people say things like, well, Bob, it's easy for you. It's not. You know, but if you knew my story, if you knew the challenges that I had, you know, if you knew my health issues or my finance issues or my education issues or all of these things, oh, it's so easy for you, Bob. I don't have the time, I'm so busy. Let me tell you about busy. Bill Russell, our MC, is actually moving to Chicago tomorrow morning. And he's here today to meet his commitment. See, the bottom line is you can have those amazing breakout successes, or you can have your excuses. You can't have them both. So you have to decide, what do you want? Do you want to make a breakout and be successful in this business? Do you want to survive a long time in this business to the point where people actually know you and they don't say, hey, I thought you were dead? No. But they remember you because you've been here and you've contributed and you've made a difference and you maybe made a few bucks along the way. Because that's important. Don't you think? Don't you think it's important for us to not only make a difference but make a dollar? I remember Jim and Naomi Rohde, both past presidents, both Cabot Award winners, were at our chapter in Vancouver. And Naomi got up, and Naomi is a keynoter's keynote. You know, she's all blingy and just she brings it and she's just so good. And Jim he's the businessman. He's the guy that pays for the diamonds that she's wearing. And they're real diamonds. They're not fake diamonds. They're real diamonds. And Jim got up and he said, you know, the interesting thing is people want to be like Naomi, but if you don't take care of your business, you're not going to last long enough to get there. I thought about that. That's true. I want to be here at the end of my career, whenever that happens. It might be today, but I want to be here. I want to keep contributing until that's time. And I want you to be able to do the same thing. If you're not taking care of your business, then you're not going to survive in this business. One of the biggest challenges I get, and I get a question because people know that I've been involved in Toastmasters for a long time. And they go, Bob, what's the difference between Toastmasters and the professional speaking, either CAPS or NSA or PSA South Africa? And I say it's really simple. You come to Toastmasters to learn how to speak. You come to one of the professional associations to learn the business of speaking. And the biggest challenge most of our newest members have is they come with the passion. They come with the excitement. They come with the dreams. They come with all of that. And they get sidetracked because they don't realize that they got to pay the bills. That they don't get that organized. And it's really sad. And you see some of them that don't make it. And that's even sadder. So part of my job, and I do this when I can, part of my job is to be the encourager, to say you can do it. Have you ever had somebody in your life that's been an encourager? Somebody that really cares about you? Somebody that don't mind me, I'm grabbing a lozenge. Somebody that wants you to succeed, believes in you. Can you physically think of somebody? Now, I wasn't going to do this, but I told this story the other day, and I figured I'll tell it again today, just because. I stand here in front of you to say that I have loved a lot of women in my life. A lot of women. And some of you are looking and thinking, that little fat guy? Hey, you go with what you got. Sometimes cute and cuddly is all you got. You go for it. That's it. You know, it works. And I had this lady, one of the first women that I loved. And she loved me back. Oh man, she loved me. She thought I was great. Now, I didn't worry about the fact that there were some differences between us. The fact that there was a difference in our ages. I could overlook that. I could overlook the fact that she was a substantial woman and I couldn't get my arms around her when I wanted to hug her. I could even overlook the fact that she was married. Because she believed in me and she loved me. She was my grade 3 Sunday school teacher. Her name was Betty. Now, all of you have dirty minds. Just come on back. It's okay. And she did. She loved me. And she defended me to my mother. I still remember her once saying to my mother, Marge, because that's my mother's name. I didn't know that. I just called her, she who must be obeyed, you know. And she said, Marge, he'll be okay. Robert's a good boy. He'll be fine. It's just a stage he's going through. That's called a touchback for the newer people. Well, I don't know. I didn't invent it, but I just figured since you used it, I would use it. I could use it obviously because you were just here. Now, if you stole it from somebody, that's your problem. But she would defend me. And you know, years later, in my 30s, I had a chance to go back to Ventura, California, and I found her. She was still alive. And I was able to tell her, you know, you made such a difference in my life. You made such a difference in my life. We don't always get that opportunity, do we? Now, one of the other things that you can have when you're making a breakout is you got to take, how many of you understand that you maybe have to take risks? Sometimes you have to try something not just different, like the mime thing. If that didn't work, if that worked, I don't know if it worked. Did it work? Because I honestly don't know. My wife's saying I'm not sure, which is okay. Because if it didn't work, it's still a good lesson. And if it worked, it would have been brilliant. But sometimes you have to take risks. There's a gentleman who's going to be speaking sometime this morning who invited me to Iran. I was newly married. My wife was a little concerned because we had all these stereotypical things about Iran and whatever. And I said, it's okay, honey, I'll be back, and if not, the insurance is paid. And so off I went. And I was actually doing fine until the one day that we were at this strategic management conference. And how many of you have been there understand that it's the clerics that call the shots? And there was this cleric came in with his entourage of about 25 people and took the first 2 rows, the comfy chairs. And afterwards, he came up to me and he said, I need to talk to you. He literally grabbed me by the arm and walked me out, never letting go of my arm. He said, I need to talk to you. When you were talking about creating an environment where failure isn't fatal, he said, you have to understand, in our religion, when you make a mistake or you fail, you can become a martyr for God. I started getting a little nervous. Because I thought, even though I had tried not to, I'm sure that somehow I've offended this man. And I don't know what I did. So we talked a little bit more. And finally I said to him, it sounds as though we both want the people we work with to take chances and take risks. And he said, yes. I said, thank you so much for talking to me. And I walked away quickly. Very quickly. Now, the only other thing that I had in Iran that was a little bit nerve-wracking was they told me, don't touch the women. They actually said, if a woman comes up and she offers you her hand, you can shake it. Otherwise, don't touch the women. Now, I don't know about you, but it's a little disconcerting when people are lining up for like a half hour to get the pictures taken, and the women were coming in and hugging me. I was like this for the first little while. I'm not touching them. I'm not touching them. It's them. It's not me. Take a picture. My hands are up here. And after a while, I just thought, the heck with it. I'll just be me. And so I gave a hug back. I figured if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I'm going to at least die being me. But you got to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to step out and try something different. If you want to break out, you have to think bigger than who you are. You have to think bigger than you think you could possibly be. Because you can push yourself farther than you believe you can go. You can push yourself so far that you won't recognize the difference of who you are. I've been fortunate to be in this business for a long time. I've gone through a lot of changes in this business. I've gone through a lot of metamorphosis in this business. And I'm glad for all of it. Because each one made me a better person. Made what I do more valuable to my audiences and to my readers. Each one brought me closer to what I thought I wanted to do that many years ago when I came and joined Toastmasters, because I wanted to travel the world. You know, Have Mouth Will Travel, which is one of the websites, so you can track where I've been. But it's nice to be able to push the edge. It's nice to be able to try something different, because I want you to succeed. Every single one of us that are here this weekend, that are members of PSA South Africa or NSA or CAPS or the other groups that are here because we invest in you. I mean, granted, we're having a good time. I saw big pussycats and big things with tusks, you know, called elephants, and the other ones with rhinos and all this stuff up close and reasonably personal. But that's not why I came. I came for this weekend, for this time, for this moment, to be able to say to you, this is your time. This is your time. And I'm actually going to bring us ahead of schedule, just because. Because I've said what I need to say. I don't have to fill, as Paul was doing yesterday. I've said what I want to say. I want you to succeed. I want you to be willing to make a difference in your lives and your audience and their lives. And I want you to remember, you can have your breakout successes or you can have your excuses. You can't have them both. Thank you so much.